Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson here with your latest update on Hurricane Melissa. Still a major hurricane churning in the Caribbean Sea, moving slowly now just south of Jamaica, where conditions are just starting to deteriorate this morning for the eastern portions of the island. So with this update that I'm just about to give you, we will go over the 11 a.m. advisory, plus we'll go over the new forecast cone that's included with that 11 a.m. advisory. Plus, I'll talk more about what conditions are expected in Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, Dominican Republic, and possibly the Bahamas later on in the week. Plus, I'll give you a look at what to expect here in Hampton Roads, which should stay away from any impacts directly from Melissa. So let's get right into the forecast. Here is Hurricane Melissa. Right now, Melissa is still a Category 4 storm, but the movement has slowed down. Earlier, it was moving at about 5 miles per hour, now only down to 3 miles per hour. Melissa just south of Jamaica at this point. You can see that it still has that very defined, cleared out eye at the moment. And I'll stop the loop right here. Here is the island of Jamaica. And this is the center of the storm. So very, very close by. And you can see a very cleared out center for this hurricane, but it is massive. I mean, this storm spans basically from just south of the western tip of Jamaica all the way to Haiti, which is over here. So this is a long distance, right? So this is just a massive storm, and once it starts to weaken, it actually will start to fan out and become even bigger. But unfortunately, we are still looking potentially at that direct hit there in Jamaica. The reason why this storm continues to just really churn and intensify is because it has the right sea surface temperatures. Temperatures of at least 80 degrees or higher gives us the window of opportunity for tropical storms to really develop. And so it is just taking advantage of these open waters in the Caribbean at the moment. So here's a look at Hurricane Melissa right now on 110 miles south of Kingston, Jamaica, 280 miles south-southwest of Guantanamo, Cuba. The forecast cone here brings it as a Cat 5 by early tomorrow morning, and then making landfall potentially as either a high-end Category 4 storm or a Category 5 storm. Again, as I told you over the past day or so, it really doesn't matter whether it's a high-end Category 4 storm or just barely hitting that Category 5 criteria, because the impacts will remain the same. I will say that as I had forecast earlier, or predicted earlier, the hurricane cone is definitely a little bit more shifted to the west to accommodate and align with those spaghetti models from earlier this morning, giving a landfall that's kind of closer to the Ochos Rios side of the island. Not saying that Ochos Rios is on the south side of the island, because it's not, but kind of getting him closer to the west, like trending more west than it has. Earlier it was trending more towards Kingston, now it's trending more towards the western side of the island. And then possibly making landfall in Cuba as still a major hurricane, but a Category 3 at that point, and moving straight through the Bahamas and heading towards Bermuda. So there's a lot of populated areas that are in the way of this storm. You have Jamaica, obviously. You have Cuba. You have Haiti, Bahamas, and eventually Bermuda. And that takes us into Friday morning. So just something to really process, food for thought here, over the course of the next week or so. So, of course, in light of that, we do have hurricane warnings in effect for the entire island of Jamaica. Like I said, it's trending more towards that western side of the island, central western side of the island, so Montego Bay to Ochos Rios for the center of the storm. But remember that the dirty side of the storm is that right side, or the eastern side, so places like Kingston will most likely get the worst effects of this storm. There also are hurricane watches in effect for southwestern portions of Haiti and also eastern Cuba. But for Haiti right now, actively, you are underneath a tropical storm warning as those outer bands continue to kind of lash the area. So let's go and see the spaghetti models that we have here for Melissa. And with these spaghetti models, it will kind of show that the new cone trends a little bit better. Yeah, it's definitely in better alignment with the new cone. The new cone is, excuse me, in better alignment with the spaghetti models, kind of taking the median of them. But some of the models still kind of taking more of a westward jog here. Like I said, towards Montego Bay, making this little, dash to the northwest and then kind of looping back out. So a lot of that has that, and some of these spaghetti models do not fall within that cone, so that's kind of interesting. I wonder if they're going to adjust for that later on, but they definitely have adjusted to having these models kind of aligned with the cone better, but still I am seeing some more of a westward trend than more of an eastward trend. But again, the dirty side, if this was the center right about here, the dirty side would be on this side of the island. And I'll see if we have some information about like the dirty side of the storm here in our graphics. I know that we've done weather, not weather specials, but weather stories on the dirty side of the storm. But basically the dirty side of the storm is going to be that right side, eastern side. That's where the strongest winds will be, because not only are you adding the fact that we have hurricane force winds, you're adding the fact that you're also having to include the forward speed of the system, so that adds higher winds. You have the storm surge pushing those winds onto the land. On the left side of the storm is actually pulling water out of those local areas. And then also you could have the potential for tornadoes on that right side of the storm as well. So let's give a look at the futurecast winds we have here from our European model. And you can see by this afternoon, right around 4 to 5 p.m., so this afternoon, evening, winds start to gust up to about 45 miles per hour in places like Morant Bay. Then you go into midnight tonight, early tomorrow morning, as the system starts to get slightly closer in places like Bull Savannah, getting wind gusts up to about 63 miles per hour. Or winds, excuse me, up to 63 miles per hour. Then you're looking at the Futurecast Euro model, and it's going up near tropical storm strength and hurricane strength at that point right there. We have the potential to see winds in Bull Savannah up to 108 miles per hour as that center makes it on land. The unfortunate part about this situation is two things. One, this is most likely going to be a direct landfall and a direct hit from an intense hurricane. So of course those impacts will be horrible. But two, the island is so small that you typically, when you have these landfalling tropical systems, with the hurricane going over land, it disrupts its potential to either maintain its intensity or strengthen it in intensity. But because the island itself is so small, let me see the distance between Ochos Rios. And I'm going to say Bull Savannah. Distance from Ochos Rios to Bull Savannah. So it's about 177 kilometers, which puts it at about 110 miles. So this is only 110 miles long. 110 miles, let's see the distance between Norfolk and Richmond, which is probably a little bit less, obviously. Well, kind of just about the same. Norfolk to Richmond is about 100 miles. And so we're talking the distance basically from Richmond to Norfolk is how tall, or I guess how long this island is. Um, or how, I guess, how wide this island is from Ochos Rios to Bull Savannah. And so, I mean, you're only talking about 100 miles, where that really won't disturb much of this tropical system, and that's why it will still maintain a Cat 4 status once it gets north of the island. And unfortunately, that strength will only be going and heading towards another populated area, which is Cuba. So this is Tuesday morning, winds of 100 up to 120 miles per hour possible. You can see there in Discovery Bay, even Ochos Rios, where we could have winds up to 95 miles per hour. I also will worry about storm surge on the backside of this thing, there near Montego Bay, as well, as those winds start to push the water back in there. But I know that places like Kingston and Morant Bay will see storm surge through about a day or so. And by Tuesday, things start to calm down as that system moves towards Cuba. Here's a look at the Futurecast model of this system. This is our graph model. It's the in-house model. And so this is something that our system generates for us. And you can see that the rain really starts this afternoon, and it's going to be that eastern part of the island that just gets continuous rain from this afternoon through about Tuesday morning. Here's Monday morning, and we haven't even had landfall yet, and pretty much the entire island is covered in showers and thunderstorms. The potential for tornadoes also exists in these areas as well. And then you, again, still haven't made it towards landfall yet, but you get right about Tuesday. You get right about here, Tuesday morning, very, very early Tuesday morning, and we may have our landfall there in Jamaica from Major Hurricane Melissa. At this point in time, it is going to unfortunately maybe be a disaster, because one, it's dark outside, so you're talking nighttime, a nighttime landfall. Two, after already seeing heavy rainfall and damaging wind gusts throughout the day, then you're talking about the potential of this eye heading right onto shore in Jamaica. And the Hurricane Center already has talked about the potential loss of communication. And I'll show you their statement in just a moment. But especially with an overnight landfall, you literally cannot see the strongest impacts, because visually our eyes are impaired when it comes to having that night vision. So, I mean, this is going to be, unfortunately, a very bad setup for Jamaica. My heart hurts for them as they prepare for this, because this may be the storm they may remember for a long time. I hope that this somehow does not cause catastrophe. I hope that. Unfortunately, the hurricane experts believe that this will be catastrophic to this portion of the Caribbean. So, of course, my thoughts still with those in Jamaica, in Cuba, in Haiti, and the Bahamas, and Dominican Republic at this time. By Tuesday morning, it quickly kind of moves out. It really gets a lot of forward speed over the land, but you still see it kind of holding together fairly well by the time it exits the island early Tuesday morning. So the actual center of the storm may only be on the island for about 6 hours before it starts to pull away and then head towards Cuba after that. But this is the wording from the Hurricane Center this morning from the 11 a.m. advisory. And the Hurricane Center, they are saying Jamaica, seek shelter now. Damaging winds and heavy rainfall today and on Monday will lead to catastrophic and life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides before the strongest winds arrive Monday night and Tuesday morning. Extensive infrastructural damage, long-duration power and communication outages, and isolation of communities are expected. Life-threatening storm surge is likely along portions of the southern coast Monday night and Tuesday morning. And there's been a lot of discourse on X about this. And one thing that I saw just this morning that really kind of opened my perspective is that, you know, a lot of people who don't live in Jamaica, especially Americans, we kind of think about, okay, the tourist places are going to be opening up pretty quickly, no problem. This is a Caribbean country. They're used to it. One, they are not used to a Category 4 direct landfall. Let's be very clear about that. Two, what about the schools? What about people's homes? What about the people who actually live there and not about the tourism of said country? We really have to make sure that we are being empathetic to those who live in this place, because it's very easy as someone who does not live anywhere in the path of Melissa to be like, oh, no worries, this will be fine. But it may not be. And how are we going to support our loved ones, and how are we going to support our neighbors there in the Caribbean after this situation? Because we can prepare for all the things we want to. We also have to remember that we have to go back and assess damage. We have to go back and support each other after the devastation, because those are usually the hardest days. Not the days that lead up to it, it's the days that come afterwards. And that's something I feel like as Americans we should remember, especially when it comes to how Katrina devastated the Gulf Coast, especially New Orleans, and how many people were impacted, their lives completely changed from a storm like Katrina. Not comparing Katrina to Melissa at all. They're very different storms. But being hit directly by a high-end Category 4 or low-end Category 5, it is going to leave at least some destruction. From the National Hurricane Center, to Haiti. Catastrophic life-threatening flash flooding and landslides are expected across southwestern Haiti through the midweek, likely causing extensive infrastructural damage and isolation of communities. Although winds are temporarily decreasing from the southwestern peninsula, they could increase again across much of western Haiti on Tuesday. The Dominican Republic. Heavy rainfall through midweek could produce catastrophic flash flooding and numerous landslides in the southern portions of the country. Eastern Cuba, southeastern Bahamas, and the Turks and Caicos. Monitor Melissa closely. There is an increasing risk of significant storm surge, damaging winds, and heavy rainfall on Tuesday and Wednesday. In eastern Cuba, the risk of life-threatening flash flooding and landslides is increasing, so a hurricane watch is in effect for portions of Cuba. Now, according to the Hurricane Center's 4-day rainfall totals in Jamaica, there could be, especially places closer to Kingston, there could be up to 20 to 30 plus inches of rainfall. In southwestern Haiti, on the peninsula, there could be up to about 16 inches of local rainfall. And then in eastern Cuba, rainfall totals could go up to possibly up to 20 inches rainfall. So we're talking 1 to 2 feet of rainfall over the course of the next four days, just 4 days. So about 6 inches of rainfall each and every day. So that's devastating. Life-threatening flash flooding, the risk for tropical storm force to hurricane force winds, add on storm surge, add on damaging waves, add on the fact that we do also have the risk of tornadoes. I mean, this is going to be something that we're watching out for very closely. Now, if you are one of the people who's listening to me and you have friends or family or loved ones in Jamaica at the moment and they don't know where to go, here's a website to find the shelters in Jamaica. You can go to www.odpem.org.jm/shelters, and this will show a map of the list of all the hurricane shelters around Jamaica. So just keeping our friends in mind there in Jamaica, and I am sending my love to you here from Virginia. Now let's go ahead and go on to Hampton Roads side of things and what I'm tracking for today here in Hampton Roads. So not only are we tracking Melissa as it moves through the Caribbean, but the systems that we'll get this week will actually help to steer Melissa away from the U.S. It's this time of year in the U.S. where the risk of tropical activity significantly falls. One, because we have much cooler sea surface temperatures. Here around the mid-Atlantic, our sea surface temperatures are in the middle to 60s to upper 60s and lower 70s, which is not conducive for hurricane formation or tropical storm or tropical depression formation. But also, we have these cold fronts that act as steering mechanisms, and almost like, think of a big wall. It acts like a wall, so tropical systems cannot get through cold fronts, so a lot of times they move around them and get pushed by them. So during this time of year, because cold fronts become so much more frequent and the water temperatures are cooler, tropical activity significantly goes down. So what I'm tracking today, cool and cloudy today here in Hampton Roads, rainy and breezy through most of the week as well, as we get a couple of systems in the area. Finally drying out though on Halloween. Now earlier this morning we had some areas of some light rainfall and still maybe a few areas of some light rainfall here in parts of the Outer Banks, so just south of Cordova Hills in Manio, Stumpy Point, so there just north of Rodanthe. That's about it when it comes to rainfall here at the moment. But we'll see more rainfall, and that risk for rainfall starts to increase for us as we progress through the work week. Now, right now it is cloudy, and I'm watching for our system to continue to push to the east. This is the same system that prompted tornado watches this morning, and you can still see a tornado watch in effect for parts of southeastern Louisiana and southern Mississippi. This will actually continue to head due east and turn offshore here, bringing the rainfall all the way up here to the mid-Atlantic. So here's a look at what to expect over the next 2 to 3 days. Through the course of the afternoon, we're going to warm up to the lower to middle 60s. We'll be mostly cloudy, but we will have some peaks of sunshine through the afternoon and evening. We'll see temperatures by 8 p.m. cooling back down to the upper 40s to the upper 50s. Cloudier overnight with a few showers for North Carolina through the morning. Temperatures will be in the lower to upper 50s. It will start to get increasingly breezy throughout the day. We may see a few peaks of sunshine before we say goodbye to the sunshine for the next 3 or so days. By Monday afternoon, a few spotty showers, but the bulk of the rain starts to build in during the evening time. We may have to even bump up these rain chances because this newest model showing much more rainfall on Monday evening than it did this morning. We also will have wind gusts up to about 25 miles an hour. Highs on Monday still in the lower 60s, but by the time we get the rainfall in, it will be a cold rain. Lower 50s inland with upper 50s around the water, and the rain just continues to become more widespread through Tuesday morning. Temperatures on Tuesday morning starting off in the upper 40s to the upper 50s, still breezy, wind gusts up to about 25 to 30 miles per hour. Widespread rainfall, some of it heavy at times. We will see the heavy rainfall continuing through the afternoon and then kind of tapering off through the evening time before resurging again on Wednesday into Thursday. Wind gusts still on Tuesday in the middle, in the 20 to 30 mile per hour range. Also know that whenever it's not raining on Tuesday, it will be very cloudy. Now, here's a look at what to expect for the rest of the week. You can see the rainfall building in once again. This right here is a cold front, and this is a cold front that's going to steer Melissa away and go towards Bermuda, which is right about here. Excuse me. And then you're going to see the rainfall kind of pushing up and away through the night and into that Monday morning, into that Friday morning, excuse me. And I believe this is the European model picking up on Melissa. And it shows, obviously, as you see, pushing this way. And I'll even like roll that back through one more time. You can see our cold front is right there, and it kind of like pushes Melissa this direction. They're closer to Bermuda. So even the European model kind of picking up on it now. But here's us on Friday. This is Friday afternoon, Halloween afternoon, and it's dry, but we also have this really strong low pressure system centered around the Great Lakes, and so we'll see some breezy conditions again on Friday. Again, all eyes on Hurricane Melissa again this morning, with sustained winds still at 140 miles an hour, forecast to become a Category 5 storm by early tomorrow morning at the very latest. Meteorologist Hunter Force will have more updates on Melissa at 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. The 8 p.m. one will be a part of Hurricane Hub Live, so make sure to join him as he breaks down what to know about Melissa and what to know about the rest of the hurricane season. And we'll continue to give you updates on Melissa each day through the time of now, through landfall and through honestly multiple landfalls, as it's supposed to make landfall in Jamaica and Cuba at the very least. If it hits directly one of those Bahamian islands, we could also maybe have a third landfall in the Bahamas. Now, your 5 to 7 day forecast shows temperatures in the lower 60s today and tomorrow, rising back to the middle 60s by Thursday, but we have showers and breezy conditions developing on Monday evening, lasting through Thursday, finally tapering off by Friday morning. But behind that cold front on Friday, things will start to dip. Temperatures for trick-or-treating at this moment could be in the 40s. And so it's going to be a pretty cold night for us as you're out and about. So think middle 40s to possibly upper 40s. Inland, we could be in those lower 40s. So it could be a very cold night for us as those kids are going out and getting that candy. And then for Halloween weekend, sunshine returns and temperatures on Saturday are right back into those lower 60s. So overall, again, a lot going on here in terms of hurricane season, plus what we're expecting here in Hampton Roads with our tropical systems coming through. So just make sure that you are staying up to date with the latest forecast here on 13 News Now Plus and 13newsnow.com as we continue to track Melissa across the Caribbean and unfortunately brace for a landfall late on Monday, so late tomorrow into early Tuesday morning. Again, hoping for the best there for my friends in Jamaica as they anticipate this landfall. But for more on the tropics, you can head to 13newsnow.com. We have a 2025 hurricane guide that will give you everything you need to know about hurricane season. Remember that hurricane season does end November the 30th. For now, I'm meteorologist Taylor Stephenson, and I'm wishing you all a great rest of your weekend.